Right, making my first video. Really sorry about the lighting, guys, but unfortunately I'm out in my back garden. I've got to get, everything's come extremely well packaged. This is my new table saw. It's my first ever cast iron top table saw. It's an entry level, it's a Charnwood. I've had to go for an 8-inch because unfortunately I don't have a very big workshop. But I mean, it's all come extremely well packaged. The actual main body of the saw was in this crate. I mean, considering it's an entry level, I mean, that's really good. I mean, opening the top of it, you can't really see, but I mean, it's got a nice coating of machine oil wax, machine wax. It's all paper waxed. It's really well packaged. I mean, this thing wasn't going anywhere. I mean, for only an 8-inch table saw, it's heavy. But like I say, I mean, everything's come extremely well packaged. Everything's, I mean, the guy delivered it, was very helpful, helped me get it into the house. Couldn't wish for more. Again, really sorry about the lighting. But I mean, you can see that everything was nicely packaged, everything's wrapped. Each item is individually wrapped. I mean, it's all really well packaged. I mean, I'm doing this. I mean, I purchased this out of my own money. It's got nothing to do with any other companies or anything. But I just wanted to, I've looked on YouTube and I can't see any videos of assembly or anything like that. I mean, there's a couple on there, but there's nothing about assembly videos or anything. So I just wanted to put this out. I mean, look at it. And look at that. I mean, that is lovely. Obviously, I'm going to check the flatness, but I mean, for the price point, can't complain. I mean, everything is well put together. I mean, there are some sharp edges which is to be expected. I've heard it from other people on YouTube, but you just run a file down them and it's absolutely fine. Like I say, I mean, it's something that you do just to keep the price point down. I mean, it's a nice metal insert, so you know, you don't have to worry about that warping and that when you're pushing your cuts through. You've got a hook on the back, which is where you're going to hang your push stick, but I mean, I don't use it. I've got my own push box. Right, I mean, got pretty much everything out of the box now. All the sides and everything, got it fully uncrated. I mean, again, Charnwood, you're unbelievable. I mean, I've got all the sides out, all the base unit. There's not a mark on it. There's no scratches, nothing's bent. I mean, it's absolutely perfect. There is not a mark anywhere. I mean, obviously I'll do another full review at some point. I've also, I mean, we've got the sliding carriage, all extremely well packaged in its own box. So it's cast iron, it doesn't bang into anything, doesn't scratch anything. Extremely well done. Just found all the other bits. So obviously when you uncrate it, it will be bolted to the pallet. When you uncrate it, you're going to find all your bits inside. I mean, it's like this, your push stick, all your other fittings for your fence, air hoses, all your clips, everything. There's nothing you need. I mean, it's all there. I am going to build myself a mobile base, just for the sheer fact that I built a ramp to go up in a workshop, just for the sheer fact that my workshop isn't on ground level. But I mean, that's where it's going to live eventually. Just got to tie up a little bit. But I mean, it's not a very big workshop. I've got my whetstone. I've got my Exminster lathe. It's only a craft lathe, but it's brilliant. I mean, made myself a dust cyclone. But yeah, I mean, my lathe is my main thing. That's why I do a lot of wood turning. Obviously I've got all my other tools, but I suppose now I'm actually doing videos, I actually at some point I'll have to work out and just actually do a shop tour. I mean, it's pretty good at the moment. I mean, it does me. Any large things I need to do, I do outside. Well, I've got the manual. I mean, I've heard that apparently this isn't that great. Apparently pictures don't coincide with the tutorial, but I'm sure we can work it out. But I mean, that's actually how it came packaged. It was all nicely stacked on one pallet. Couldn't have asked for more. I mean, like I say, you'll find everything underneath. When you turn it over, it is bolted to the pallet, so you will have to unbolt it. But, I mean, pretty much all your fixtures and fittings, they're all there. I mean, your feet, adjustable feet, but like I say, I'm going to put it on them. I'm going to make myself a mobile base. But yeah, I mean, it is really, really nice. But like I say, I mean, I'm doing this for myself. Just because I keep saying I was going to go and start making videos with my wood turning and woodworking. Never have. But now decided I've actually got a really nice table saw. Like I say, it's entry level, but it's going to be ideal for what I need. But I mean, everything is there. I mean, it looks pretty good. I mean, like I say, come on guys, when was the last time we read instructions? I mean, at the very most we're going to look at pictures and that'll be about it. So I mean, all this stuff about, you know, what does fit and doesn't, but like I say, we'll see. I mean, I'm going to get it all set up and we'll go from there. Whether or not anything needs shimming, we'll just have to have a look and find out. Right, so guys, it's accurate what I say. There is going to be some shimming. I mean, yeah, might gauge the tracks, the T-tracks, I mean, yeah, they are very, very sharp, but just run a quick file down them and they're as good as gold now, no problem. I mean, the fence does need shimming. It runs on the thing. I mean, I haven't squared it all up yet, but that's definitely going to need shimming so it doesn't run on the table. But there's 4 little bolts here, 4 little Allen bolts. Undo them, and just under here there is 4 more bolts that actually hold this, and that will lift that up, and that will give you enough room to shim it up, rather than shimming this. I mean, it's entirely up to you how you want to do it, but rather than shimming this bit, I'd just shim it under here and just lift this whole entire thing up. Just this whole, lift this arm up, and that should lift it off the table. I mean, it needs about a mil, not a lot at all. So, like I say, without shimming, I mean, they're the 4 little bolts that I'm going to do it. That's how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to undo them. I'm going to put something just between now, just down that little gap there, and that will lift it up high enough. I mean, I'm probably like every other bloke. Got 4 little tiny washers. I've got a, you know, a little box which is just full of scrap, because like I say, like most blokes, I never throw anything away. So I'm just going to try that and we'll see how that works out. Right, so yeah, I've shimmed underneath there, and that has brought that up. I mean, it's literally just about see daylight through it now. And I mean, that's actually got an added benefit, because as I cut, all the sawdust isn't going to collect in that corner. Right, back to it. Got the sides on. Got the front fence, or front runner. Got the back one on. A little bit of mucking about. Had to do a little bit of shimming under there, just so we can get it level with everything else. But I mean, it's focus. I mean, it's all level now, so that's great. I mean, next, let's just going to put the side carriage on and see how that goes. Right, I think this is going to be the last one for today. I mean, I've got the side carriage on, but as you can see, it's starting to get a bit dark now. So I'm going to stop for today. Carry on tomorrow morning. You know, unfortunately, life gets in the way, and we have other things we have to do. But we'll just see how that goes. Yeah, so far everything looks great. I mean, I couldn't be happier. I mean, that's the fence that goes on the side here. That's part of the sliding carriage. So, I mean, but that's nothing. I mean, this sliding carriage can go on both sides, just with these two bolts, and you can move it on the other side using these two. So, but I mean, it bolts back and front, obviously. But yeah, so you can have it either side, whichever way you want it. But yeah, so far I'm very impressed. Right guys, it's the next day. Unfortunately, I'm relegated to the workshop because it's not a very nice day out there today. It has been trying to rain, and obviously I'm not taking a cast iron table saw or anything cast iron outside when it's picking down with rain. So I'm going to get started today. I'm going to carry on getting the sliding carriage fitted. Obviously, I mean, there's going to be a couple of bits. I mean, that I'm not going to use that. I'm probably like most guys, I'm not going to bother putting that on, so I won't need the overhead air collection, or dust collection, sorry. But that one, I mean, it's great. I've tried it. Well, I say it's great, it's okay. I've tried it. It's better than some of the ones you get. I mean, they're probably like job site saws and that. It's a lot better than that. It is tighter than that, but for me, there's still way too much play in it. So I'm probably going to get an aftermarket part at some point. Either that, or I'll just replace this rod with one that's adjustable. And I'll just, because I mean, you can unbolt it. It's fine. It's not going to be an issue. Just unbolt it and it'll fit on another one. So I'll either replace that bar, or I'll just completely jack it off and get an aftermarket one. But yeah, so I'm going to get the sliding carriage fitted today, and then I can see about getting all the blades squared up to the T-track, getting the sliding carriage all squared up to the T-track, and the fence squared up to the T-track, because then everything is going to be in line. Then I can set the stop on the saw and work out my 0 point. But first of all, I mean, we need to do this. When I did this, I mean, you bolt it underneath and you've got these bolts under here. You will have to undo these and undo these so you can slide it on. I can tighten it up, but obviously we can't adjust any of that at the moment because I need to get the sliding carriage on so we can get that all level with the top of the table. So we'll go from there. I mean, also these are on a camber. It looks like they're on a camber. If you notice, I mean, those and that one, they seem to be centered, but these two, if you look, they're off-centered on both of these two back ones. So you can obviously, you can adjust them so you can have it running as tight or as loose as you want it. So we'll get that all set up now. Right, so the sliding carriage is now fitted. That's all squared up and level with the top of the table. It's all very nice. Using spirit level. I've seen other people use spirit levels and clamp them down. I don't like doing that, because then if you clamp it down anywhere, you've got a good chance you're going to put a flex in it. I mean, you start clamping things down and you're going to put a flex in them. So I don't do that. I just put it there and just look. If I can see daylight, obviously that's not square. So I don't clamp it down. I just put it on there, and if it runs nice and smooth with no daylight, then things are good. What I will say is, when you come down underneath, when you're doing this and tightening them up, you've got 4 on either side of the brackets, and obviously on the back ones. I found you do these ones up first, so you're bringing this bracket up tight with this bit of aluminium extrusion. Then I adjust the height of the table by moving these and then tighten these up. I just nick these ones up first, and then I come over, do the same on the back, then nick these ones up once it's all level. Then I'll come back and tighten them all up properly. But do these ones first, that way you're not pulling the extrusion down on this bracket with that's already tight. So tighten these ones last. And also, I mean, once you've got these all tight, these bolts that I was talking about on the bottom, the ones that are cambered, it's the 2 on the outer, so it's the 2 that's on the outer edge. So if you come from the edge, it's the first 2. They're the 2 that are cambered. Adjust them. It's a 14. I found it easy with a 14mm socket. Trying to put a spanner on them because they're inset is a pain. So try and use a 14mm socket and just adjust that a little bit. And like I say, you can have it as hard or as easy as you want it. Obviously, user's choice. Right. So like I was saying, this is all now adjusted. So I mean, it moves really nice. Obviously, if depending on the size of what you're cutting, your blank or whatever you're cutting, these can be adjusted just by undoing those 4 bolts that I said about that hold it to the top, the silver ones. They can be adjusted underneath, and you can slide this backwards or forwards, whichever way you need it. Like I say, depending on the size of your cut. Right, next I'm going to fit is the fence for the sliding table, and then we'll carry on. Right, that's stupid easy. Getting this thing fitted, getting this fence fitted is stupid easy. Obviously you've got this bracket here, which you can undo, you loosen that. There is in there, just in there, there's a little tiny grub screw. Once you drop this in, just nick that up. It doesn't need to be tight, just nick it up. If you want to use thread lock, that's fine, but just remember, if you use thread lock, it's going to be a pain to get it back out. But you just want to nick that up because that will hold that, but you still need to be able to rotate that, because I mean that's your hold down clamp. It's a generic hold down clamp. I mean, it's nothing great, it's quite a beefy one, so it will do the job. Obviously you've got, this is your adjustment, so you can, this is your adjustment, just undo that, loosen that off, and you'll be able to pivot. And it's a bit stiff, but I mean you're alley on alley, so I mean it's going to be a bit of binding, but a bit of silicone dry spray, silicone lubricant, that'll be fine. Got a generic backstop or dead stop, whatever you want to call it. Is what it is. I mean, it's a generic one. I mean, you can get an aftermarket one put on there, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing, but that's all adjustable as well, or you can take it right off. I mean, you won't need to, because it can fold right over and it's out of the way, so you don't really need to worry about it that much. But yeah, just undo that obviously, because that's going to be your clamp as well. But yeah, just loosen them off. If you hold it there, I found it slides a lot better. If you keep it square to the fence, then it does slide a lot better. But then obviously once you've got it to all your angle, I mean you've got all your angles on here. I've just checked, and according to the fence, they are accurate. So I mean, how much you want to rely on them is entirely up to you. I won't be relying on too much. But also, when you adjust this, when you get this down, you can adjust the dead stop. You've got a dead stop here, which you can push up from the bottom and obviously push down from the top. But that is also adjustable. There's a slot in it just there. Sorry, there's a slot in it just there, so you can actually alter that. So you can get that so that that fence is at a dead 90 to the blade. But I'm going to get all that done now. Like I say, I'm going to get blade squared up to the mitre slots, or T-tracks, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to get them squared up, then I'll get the fence squared up to the T-slots or T-tracks as well. Then I'll square up the blade, square up the fence, sliding fence to the blade as well. So that's my next job. Apparently this is quite easy to do. You've just got these 4 screws, you've got these 4 screws, these 2 and these 2 here as well. Obviously you need to take the blade guard out, take that out, and you should be able, there is a nylock nut underneath these. So I mean, you're probably going to be better off taking this side off. I mean, it looks pretty easy, doesn't look like there's too much to it, but you're going to need to take at least one of the sides off. That one's got a wheel on it, so I probably won't bother that one, but I'll probably take this one off. You've got a screw at the bottom on each side, and you've got one at the top on each side as well. Just take those 4 off, and you should be able to get underneath there and just hold those 4 with the nylock nut. Otherwise it's just going to spin, you're never going to be able to tighten it back up. But that's the next job. Right, I'm sure you guys all know about this, but I'm just going to do it for my own peace of mind, really. I'll mention it for your own peace of mind. When you're squaring up this blade, this is how I'm doing it because I don't have the proper mitre engage. But when you're squaring up your blade, I square it up to the T-track. But what you need to do is, as you're doing this, you need to make sure that when you do it, you need to do the front, then you do the back, but you need to do it at the same tooth, just because there may be some deflection in the blade. So what you do is you move this back and move the blade, so you're measuring from the same tooth. Right, okay, just done mine, and mine is dead straight from the T-track from the factory. So I mean, that's brilliant. I've just checked my 90 degree and my 45 degree and the dead stop. Slight little adjustment on the dead stop. I mean, it was minute. Probably could have got away with even not bothering doing it, but I'm a bit of a twat like that. I like things absolutely perfect. The better your cut, the better your job's going to be. So I mean, I've checked it. I set my dead stop for the 45 and the 90 degree angles, and I've adjusted the little reader here as well. So when I've got it dead on 90, this is your little locking arm. Push this down and it locks your blade in position. So whether you're 45 or 90 or 33 degrees, whatever, lock that down or push that down and it will lock the blade. But yeah, so that's all adjusted now. So that's dead on my 90. So everything's good so far. Now I square up the fence to the T-track, because then that's going to be then, once I square it up to the T-track, it will be square to the blade, and then it's just a case of squaring that up, so that's at a 90 degree to that, and setting that little stop there at the end. Right, now I've got my fence square to the T-track. That's all nice and lovely and squared up all the way down. I did that just by literally just cracking these through screws, these through Allen keys or Allen bolts. Literally just cracked them, because you've got the fourth one under here. You can just pivot on that one. Don't need to take this off to get to it, otherwise I mean it's just going to be a pain trying to square up the blade, square up the fence. So leave that one, just literally just crack these 3 loose, tiniest bit, and then you can adjust that left or right or whichever way. I've just checked, it's now 90, it is also 90 degrees from the table, so that's all good as well. Now everything's squared up, I'll all I've got to do is square up that and adjust that so that it's at 90 degrees. Right, that's it, job's done. I mean, that's now square to the blade, so everything's square, the blade's square to the T-track, straight out of the box from the factory. It was like that, so I didn't need to adjust any of that. The fence is now square to the blade, the T-track, which is also square to the blade, obviously. This is now, the fence is now 90 degrees to the fence, the blade. It's really easy to adjust this. I mean, get dead stop, push it up. You have to undo this with a 14mm bolt, and you've got an Allen key in there you hold still. Just crack that loose, and you can turn that, like I say, there is a slot in the top there, and you can turn that to wherever you want it. Do that back up. While you hold that with the Allen key, do the 14mm nut up, and that will stop that from moving. But that is now dead. That's 90 degrees to the blade. So, I mean, everything's great. I'm now ready for my first start. I've been waiting for this moment for ages. Just find ourselves a plug. Unfortunately, like I say, it's a small workshop, so I am limited on space. So, right, plug it in, and I mean, you've got all your usual stuff. I mean, you've got your off, your on, and obviously your emergency stop. But for the first start up, that is so much quieter than my old saw, my old contract saw. I mean, this is belt driven, so I'll buy myself a spare belt just so I've got it. You know, you never know when your belts are going to go. I think it's good to periodically change them, but I'll always have a spare just in case. The only thing left to do now is literally wipe all the surfaces down. I mean, I've taken most of the oil off, but I'm now wiping down with alcohol, get all the oils and every residue off, and I'm ready to rock. But Charnwood, amazing. Couldn't fault them. Like I say, customer service was really good. Not that I've had to speak to them, but I just wanted to check about the fence, because you can actually get an upgraded fence, but apparently this already comes with the upgraded fence. So, I mean, it's great. For the price point, as an entry-level cast iron table saw, it's great. I mean, I can't fault it in any sense of the word. Everything was nice. Like I say, a little bit of filing on the T-track slots to keep the price point down. There's some things they don't do, but I mean, come on, if you can't run a file down an edge of something, then you shouldn't be using a table saw. Same with the sliding carriage, just a little bit of a run down there with a metal file. Everything's great, couldn't fault them. Charnwood, you're amazing. I will definitely be buying more stuff off of you. Right, but for now, that's it. It's the end of my first video, and like I say, on the next one I'll probably just do like a shop tour, but obviously I need to tidy up first because this place looks like a tip. Alright, catch you later guys, bye.